time for HR and legal, for all the in-house people, to be ahead of the curve when it comes to the introduction or the advent of artificial intelligence at the workplace. I mean, everybody knows digitalization is taking up the world, the business world, and I think HR and legal has to be aware of 3 issues that are coming. One could affect the business model. So there might be a disruptive business model which will turn over the organization totally, and HR as a business partner and legal as a business partner need to be aware of that. HR and legal should take into account new forms of the organization. Some of them have already started in many companies. For example, we are talking about matrix structures. We are talking about prosumers, who are a mixture between employees and consumers. We are talking about less hierarchical levels, but more project groups, so people just working together. And we are talking about a non-physical form of collaboration. So not that many people work in the site from 9 to 5. More and more people work from anywhere and at any time. And that will have a lot of legal implications. I mean, we all know that the legal framework mostly stems from a picture of the 19th, early 20th century when it comes to working time, the general working conditions. And I think it's time, after 100 years, it's time to change and to accept that the world or employees would like to see different legal framework. My concern here is that the legislation is lagging behind and that the gap between the legislative framework is getting wider and wider. This also accounts for things like the remuneration wage and hour system in your country. I think in the future, employees will be paid for their results and not so much for being present. And that means new forms of remuneration. We will have more and more freelancers in the future. And just to give you an example, in the United States, there are about 37% at the moment working as freelancers. This number, according to our study, will rise to 50% by 2020, so only in 3 years. And I think also the labor relations system will have to change in order to survive. And thirdly, I think that HR and legal need to make sure that employees and freelancers, of course, will be trained. We will need a new skill sets for employees. It's not that fact-based driven anymore. The future will be more geared to creativity, problem solving, team playing, issue spotting. And these are skill sets which you typically do not learn at university or at school. So you have, the companies have to make sure that these skill sets are learned and being trained. And it also means, I mean, due to the changes that will accelerate in the future, that employees will have the opportunity to have access to lifelong training.